Something has just started bubbling under the surface in Detroit that could shake up the edge room, test the front office's nerve, and remind everyone that the NFL is a business first, even when the story looks like pure loyalty on the surface. This is Lions News Fan Report, and if you ride with this team the way I do, you're in the right place, because here you get fast updates, real rumors, and deep analysis about our Detroit Lions, always with respect for the facts, and with the voice of a fan who bleeds Honolulu blue. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through what's really going on around rookie edge rusher Ahmed, how we got from every team in the league wanted him, and he chose to stay, to quiet whispers that his roster spot might be one of the first on the line, what the numbers say about his role in this defense, how the depth chart is shifting as guys get healthy, and why some people inside and outside Detroit are starting to wonder if the front office is quietly preparing a very tough move. I'm not dropping any "he's gone" headline in the first minute. I want you to feel the full context before we hit the climax of these rumors around his future. Let's rewind and remember why Ahmed's story hit so many Lions fans right in the heart. We're talking about a 6th-round pick, a developmental edge rusher with an international background who came into preseason, got his chances, and absolutely showed something. 3 run stops, 2 pressures, 5 total tackles across 3 preseason games, plus a really solid set of film grades, overall strong versus the run, clean tackling, respectable flashes as a pass rush. Enough juice that people started circling his name as one of those under-the-radar guys who fit perfectly with the culture Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell are building. Tough, humble, willing to do the dirty work. Then came the setback. A pec injury in preseason week 2 slowed him down at exactly the wrong time, when depth decisions were being made by the hour. The Lions were tight on roster spots, needed fully healthy bodies, and made a risky decision. Waive him with an injury settlement, betting on the relationship they built and hoping there would be a way to bring him back once he was good to go. That would already be a big gamble in any normal case. But what happened next is what turned Ahmed into a real fan-favorite storyline. As soon as he hit the market, the league noticed. According to the player himself, his agent told him that basically all 31 other teams picked up the phone to try to get him onto their practice squad. The reasoning was obvious. As an international player, he offers flexibility on the roster, and those preseason snaps put enough on tape to make smart front offices curious. And what did he do? He shut it all down. No tour, no let me test the market, no chasing a fast track to playing time somewhere else. He told his agent he wasn't going anywhere, that he wanted to come back to the Lions because they were the ones who believed in him first. That word loyalty wasn't a PR buzzword. He repeated that it means everything to him, that he's honored to be here and wants to give everything back to the organization that took the chance. For a fan base that remembers years when players didn't exactly fight to stay in Detroit, that hits different. Since then, the story on the field has moved faster than many people realize. While Ahmed worked his way back physically and mentally, the rest of the edge group took a step forward that almost nobody in the national media saw coming. The Lions roll into Week 11 sitting 4th in the NFL in sacks with 30 total. Aiden Hutchinson doing exactly what we hoped already at 7 sacks, forcing protections to slide his way and opening lanes for everyone else. All Quaden Muhammad stepping up with 6 and bringing real juice as a complimentary rusher. Role players and interior guys chipping in with steady pressure. And now Marcus Davenport designated to return from injured reserve, ready to add another proven pass rush body into the rotation. That's the kind of problem you want if you're trying to win in January. But it's still a problem. You can't carry everybody. And every time you activate someone, sign someone, or reshuffle a position group, another name moves closer to the edge of the cliff. This is where the business side starts creeping into what used to feel like a pure feel-good story. Looking at the 53 and the practice squad today, you see a team that has quietly gone from "we need bodies at edge" to "we actually have a serious competition just to stay in the room." You got your blue chip in Hutchins, a veteran producer in Muhammad, a returning weapon in Davenport, depth guys who play on special teams and fill defined roles on game day, plus a front office that has never been shy about churning. The bottom of the roster, if they believe someone on the street or on another practice squad, can give them even 1% more. When that's your philosophy, The players further down the depth chart, especially those coming off injury and still in development, naturally slide into that bubble category. And if you listen carefully, that's exactly where Ahmed's name has started to pop up, in that group of players who are loved and respected in the building. But watch closely anytime a new wave of moves is on the table. At the same time, the coaching staff is juggling the eternal question: upside versus reliability. In the small sample we've seen, Ahmed showed he can set an edge, play the run with discipline, tackle cleanly, and at least flash some traits as a rusher. Those early grades weren't superstar numbers, but they were a strong base for a sixth-round rookie learning the league. The pec injury interrupted that trajectory, and coaches always have to ask themselves the same things. Does he get all the way back to that first-step explosiveness, that strength in his hands, that ability to convert speed to power? If the answer is yes, you risk losing a guy who could become a real rotational piece somewhere else if you try to sneak him through. If the answer is we're not sure yet, then his spot becomes vulnerable anytime you need flexibility. When Davenport is fully back in pads, when another young edge you like becomes available, or when you decide you need an extra core special teamer at a different position, someone has to pay the price. Right now, a lot of people see Ahmed's name closer to that line than it was a month ago. There's also the cultural side of all, and this is where the rumor that he could be released hits hardest. The Lions are building a locker room around exactly the traits Ahmed has shown: loyalty, buy-in, willingness to grind, and to bet on himself in this environment. He literally heard from 31 other teams and still said, "I want to stay where people believed in me first." That's the kind of quote that fits right into every speech about being all in on this city and on this program. If the first guy you move on from when things get tight is the same guy who publicly chose you over everybody else, you need to be absolutely sure you're doing it for football reasons only, and you need to send that message carefully. Players watch those decisions. They know who stayed, who chased money, who chased snaps, who chose comfort. Cutting a player tied to that kind of loyalty story can have collateral impact if the room doesn't clearly understand that it's about depth, health, and fit, not about respect. And yet there's another side we can't ignore. Being ruthless about the back end of the roster is one of the marks of a serious contender. For a long time, Lions fans were used to a world where the bottom third of the depth chart was just dead weight, guys hanging on because there was nobody better. That's not where we are anymore. Detroit is one of the hottest programs in the league. Other teams are constantly trying to poach our practice squad guys, our coaches, even our ideas. Front offices that win in January treat every single spot like an investment. From that perspective, even a loyal, hard-working guy like Ahmed can turn into what I call opportunity costs. Keeping him means not taking a swing on someone else who gets cut free from a different 53. That's the cold logic behind the rumor that's starting to grow legs. That Ahmed Hassanein could be one of the next cuts if the Lions decide they need to reallocate resources and keep the churn going. It doesn't mean it will happen, but it explains why more people are starting to whisper about it. So here's the core of what's being speculated, said clearly and without drama. As the defensive front gets healthier and the edge group keeps producing, Ahmed may slide toward the front of the move list the next time Detroit has to open a spot. It's not about punishment. It's not about broken trust. It's not about a bad attitude. Everything we've seen points in the opposite direction on that front. It's about a front office dead set on squeezing every drop of value out of the roster, and a coaching staff that might feel they can either gamble on his loyalty if he hits the open market again, or accept the risk of losing him because they believe they can develop the next version. There is no guarantee that he will be released, and there is every chance he survives the next wave of moves and keeps growing in Allen Park. If you're hearing more talk that he could be on the chopping block, that's the football logic pushing these rumors, not some personal drama behind the scenes. Now I want to bring it back to us, because this isn't just a spreadsheet debate. It's a question about what kind of team we want the Lions to be. As a fan, I love Ahmed's story, a late-round rookie with an international root, saying no to 31 other teams because he believes in Detroit and in this coaching staff. I want that narrative to end with him making plays in real games, getting that first regular season sack in front of a roaring four-field crowd, maybe becoming one of those names we look back on and say, we saw it from the beginning. At the same time, I can't ignore that we're finally living in a world where hard decisions on the margins are part of staying good year after year. My honest read right now is that his future is on a knife's edge. If the coaches still see the upside they saw back in camp when he's fully healthy, they'll fight to keep him around. If they view him as one of several similar darts, then yes, he's very much at risk the next time a wave of moves hits. Before I wrap this up, I want to hear directly from you down in the comments. If you were sitting in Brad Holmes' chair, what would you do with Ahmed Hassanein right now? Would you protect him at all costs because of his loyalty story and the flashes he showed in preseason? Keep investing in his development and bet that he turns into a real rotational piece down the road? Or do you think the team has reached a point where every back-end spot has to be in constant motion? And if that means moving on from a feel-good storyline to chase a little more upside somewhere else, you'd accept it as part of the process. Tell me how you personally balance heart and business when it comes to building a contender in Detroit. And if you want to stay on top of every twist in stories like this, every roster move, every rumor that actually has football logic behind it, make sure you subscribe to Lions News Fan Report. Hit that notification bell and share this video with another Lions fan who loves talking depth charts and cap decisions as much as game day hype. Here we're going to keep breaking down the big headlines and the quiet moves with the same seriousness, always from the perspective of people who love this team as much as you do.